living at a time when, first of all, most Armenians do not live in Armenia and haven't for a long time. We have dual lives, and the Armenian part of our lives, I think, creates an obligation in us, and should create an obligation in every Armenian's life, to actually represent something for the rest of the world. If we can represent our historic lesson that you have to work towards good in order to help other people in difficult situations, and that we have been given the help we needed when we needed it to survive, and that we then become the enablers of the survival of other people, that to me is a special mission.
Siamo fiori di un unico giardino. Rosa, giglio, viola, ciclamino. Dimensione e profumo possono variare, ma la bellezza di ognuno è particolare. Siamo fiori di un unico giardino. Giardino è il mondo e il fiore ogni bambino. Bambini di tutto il mondo, formiamo un giro tondo, scacciamo tristezza e malumore. Stringiamoci le mani con amore e lasciamo sbocciare sul nostro viso uno smagliante, bellissimo sorriso.
Ազգորը հավոր տարի հետո իր մեջ ուժակ գտել ուրիշներին շնորհակալություն ասել, ուրիշներին օգնի, դա նշանակում է, որ մենք զոհ չենք։ Ես հիշում եմ իմ պապուս, որ որբ էր մեծացել Եվրոպանոցում, ինքը ցեղասպանություն պրկվել էր վերջին 10 տարվա մեջ ավելի քիչ ու քիչ մարդ հավանում, ընտանիք, որոնք արդեն հիշում են ոնց է դա եղել։ Եվ դա մեծ էջ փակող մի հատ ժամանակաշրջան է, երբ որ բոլորս մենք հիշում ենք, հասկանում ենք, բայց իմ երեխեքի համար արդեն դա ավելի քիչ է ցավալի, որտեղ ես եմ պատմում պատմածը իմ պապուս եւ այլեր ուրիշ զգացողություն։ Այդ 100 տարին տենց չի, որ ուղղակի լավ թիվ է, դա 3 սերունդի, 4 սերունդի ժամանակաշրջանի մեջ է։ Տեղապահության այսօրվա օրվա եւ վաղվա օրվա այդ ամուրջը մենք փորձում ենք տեսնել Ավրորայով։
Armenia, the land of Noah. For millennia, Armenians created an ancient civilization of builders, healers, scientists, and storytellers at the crossroads of world cultures. They survived conquests and empires, contributed to trade, art, literature, and science, becoming a truly global people. In 1915, under the cover of the Great War, 1.5 million Armenians perished from their ancient homeland, along with their culture and way of life. This was a genocide perpetrated by the Ottoman Empire against its own citizens. Across the four corners of the globe, men, women, and children fled, seeking shelter and a life of peace. They were determined and resilient. The fortunate ones were saved by unsung heroes who risked their lives. Among the saved children was Aurora Mardiganyan, an orphaned 17-year-old survivor of the atrocities. She became the star of Ravished Armenia, the first major motion picture produced in Hollywood about the genocide. Based on her autobiography, Aurora was cast in the starring role, reenacting the trauma of her young life and telling the story of her people. The film premiered to sold-out audiences in Chicago, New York, Los Angeles, San Francisco, and more than 100 cities across the United States, the United Kingdom, France, and Australia. Aurora's autobiography sold several hundreds of thousands of copies. She became an international phenomenon during the silent film era, a symbol of survival, goodwill, and the devastation of the genocide. She was the icon of philanthropic aid for the survivors. In 1919, the monumental success of Ravished Armenia raised international awareness and $30 million for 60,000 orphans in the Near East. To this day, Aurora remains a testament to the living memory of the genocide and the gratitude of the Armenian people to their saviors. True to her name, Aurora became the symbol of light and hope for an entire generation. Those who survived and resisted the genocide, like Aurora, were scattered around the world and persevered. They rebuilt their lives and communities with dignity, ever grateful to the Samaritans who rescued their families. Men and women like Jacob Kunzler, Bodil Bjorn, Maria Jacobson, Fridtjof Nansen, and so many others put their lives at risk to heal and protect the refugees and survivors. The world today faces man-made disasters not unlike those of a century ago. Every day, heroes worldwide answer the call of human duty. These rare and brave men and women are among us. They are our neighbors. They are the strangers on the streets we pass. They work in the far corners of the world, saving lives with open hearts. On behalf of the survivors of the Armenian genocide, and in gratitude to their saviors, the Aurora Prize for Awakening Humanity honors the power of the human spirit that compels action in the face of adversity. Anyone, anywhere in the world is eligible for the prize. We salute those who dedicate their lives to enabling others to live and make a difference.
Good evening, dear friends. I'm David Ignatius, and I'm very pleased to greet you all here in Venice on San Lazzaro Island, where we had such a moving ceremony last year in 2021. This feels like a family reunion.
Hello everyone, I'm Dalia Atalla and I will be your host tonight together with David. I am so happy to be back and to spend the evening with you all.
We are honored to have the presence of Raphael Petros XXI, Catholicos Patriarch of Cilicia of Armenian Catholics, representatives of the Armenian Apostolic and Catholic Churches and Municipality of Venice, Armenia's ambassadors to the Vatican and Italy, and our hosts, the Micturist Fathers. Thank you, Your Beatitude, Your Eminence, Excellencies, and Reverend Fathers, for being with us tonight. In today's disordered world, it's a special gift that Aurora has brought us all to the everlasting glory of Italy, where every stone, every building reflects thousands of years of history. Here on San Lazzaro Island, we gather again to celebrate the very best of humanity.
Since 1717, this island has been home to the order of Mechitarists, founded by Abbot Mechitar of Sebaste. This beautiful location and its rich history represent the union between spiritual, educational, and humanitarian values.
Safeguarded in this treasury of Armenian culture is a painting by the great Armenian artist Ivan Ivazovsky, or Hovannes Ivazyan. It's entitled Chaos, Creation of the World. It dates back to 1841.
We wanted to show you this particular painting as we feel that it reflects the main message of Aurora, that even from the most terrifying, chaotic turmoil, something good may still emerge if we put our mind to it.
Even at the hour of despair, we can still make a difference if we lend a helping hand. Even in the darkest times, there is always a glimmer of hope if we light the candle. Let us remember and cherish that saving truth about life.
Since its inception, Aurora has brought together countless supporters and empowered the world's unsung humanitarian heroes, enabling them to extend their work to more people while raising awareness of their courageous efforts. To those who made it possible, we thank you all from the very bottom of our hearts.
Over the 3 centuries, the founder of this abbey has set up the basis of our order to pursue the valuable aim of raising the spiritual and educational level of the Armenians and other nations as well in many continents. Those universally acclaimed humanitarian, educational, cultural, and spiritual values are condensed and reflected in Aurora's movement. Aurora Prize, right from the beginning, was open to the entire world and the whole of humanity. And today, it's already a universal event, followed by millions.
World peace is not just an idealistic concept, but a tangible goal that we all must work hard for it. It brings joy to our hearts that Aurora Humanitarian Initiative continues to bring together people from around the world. Aurora is calling from above and dedicated themselves fully to helping others.
Today, I remember how the concept of the Aurora Humanitarian Initiative began, how my good friends, late, great Dr. Vartan Gregorian, Nubarafeyan, and Ruben Vartanian had the extraordinary vision on the painful memory of the Armenian genocide, to reach out compassionately to others on behalf of the martyrs of the Armenian genocide and in gratitude to the survivors. And I remember too how they put this concept into action by creating the Aurora Humanitarian Initiative. Aurora's key principles, gratitude in action, and the cycle of giving truly resonate with the powerful message expressed by Jesus. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers and sisters of mine, you did for me.
Serzo
Last year, our dear mentor and friend Vartan passed away, but his profound legacy will live on. Vartan once said, Aurora's aim is to reconnect, to declare human solidarity. In the future, there will be an association of Auroras of this world, each awakening decency and basic humanity. Amen to that, Vartan.
By helping humanity, we're helping ourselves, because we're part of it. But also it broadens our horizon, that we can have standards which are international and universal. We're not parochial people, we're universal people. So our beings have to learn that giving enhances you as a person, makes you feel good. You give out of purpose to fix things, to build things, not just for pity, but for civic and humanitarian reasons. Դրա համար Aurora շատ կարևոր է, որ ամեն հայի մեջ տեղ կա, որ իրենց մարդասիրությունը Բարի երեկո սիրելի հրանիկներ։ Ես ճառ էի գրած, բայց ճառս բևոչ գրպանստրի, որպես կուզեմ խոսել սրտից։ I wrote a speech and read it, but it was not me. So I decided to put the speech in my pocket and speak from my heart. The other day, American University of Beirut, I quoted Brecht's Life of Galileo, in which there is a famous line, "Cursed be the land that needs heroes," because we become so depraved that few are exceptional, but those few lift us up, but still do not allow us to cope with our depravity. Nietzsche said, if God is dead, everything is possible. If shame is gone, everything possible. If decency is gone, everything possible. So you saw that. I'm very emotional because I grew up in Tabriz, where you did not hit a woman, where you did not kill a child, where you did not hit an elderly, you did not hit a cripple. Life was sacred. All Abrahamic faiths taught dignity of religion, dignity of man. And now we have made an exception and murdered on the altar of ultranationalism, sacrificing ethnic groups, sacrificing women, sacrificing ethnic groups, nations, because people would like to have perfect system for their own. That's what worries me. That's why I'm very proud of Dubar and Ruben for their vision of sparking a fire, however small fire, which already has become spread like a fire all over the world. People are talking about this small spot on the map called Armenia, called Yerevan, out of which has started this feeling that murder has no borders, race has no colors. We are all human beings, supposedly to be handiwork of God and creatures of God. So, thank you, Ruben. I mean it. Thank you, Nubar. Your vision has begun, and we have now made this a movement, not an Armenian movement, but an international movement. And I hope all of you have helped us. I hope all of you will spread the rumor that this is a failure, so we can prove how successful it is.
What a great man. How much we all miss him. Tonight, we have his family here with us, and I'd like to invite his son, Rafi Gregorian, up on stage to say a few words. Rafi.
Thank you, David, and thank you, Dalia. I work for the United Nations now, and I think given all the horsepower here, diplomatic and ecclesiastical, I might just say all diplomatic protocols observed, because otherwise we might be here a while. First of all, I want to especially thank Nubar and Ruben for inviting Amy and me to join you here for the Aurora Prize weekend, and to the Mektarist congregation here on St. Lazarus Island for allowing the award ceremony to take place here. Being here is special for me because my father did research here in 1966 while my mother, older brother Vahe, and I stayed with family in Tehran. I don't want to take too much of your time as we are really here to celebrate these amazing humanitarians and the new laureate. So let me just share one simple thought with you. Those of you who heard me give the family eulogy for my father this past April will recall I talked about the intergenerational transmission of trauma. What does intergenerational transmission of humanity look like? Well, I'd just say, look around you. It looks like all of you, not just the Aurora humanitarians and laureates who risk their lives to save others, to lift up the downtrodden, the voiceless, and the defenseless, and give them hope, but also to those who make this prize possible. In his welcoming speeches at Brown University, when my father served there as president, he would tell freshmen, quote, "You are a unique moment in the history of creation. You have to decide what you want to do with your uniqueness. You can be a dot, a letter, a word, a sentence. You can be a paragraph, a page, a chapter, or a book. But what if you decide to be nothing, a blank? If you decide to be the latter, you will be forfeiting the value of your talents, all the knowledge of the universe, and all the creativity of preceding generations," unquote. So to me, looking at all of you tonight, you are all the books in the library of Vartan Gregorian. Thank you.
Thank you so much, dear Rafi. Your father was truly an outstanding man, and we are moved to continue to make the world a better place in his honor.
And now, world-renowned soprano Isabel Bayraktarian will use her tremendous vocal talent to honor the memory of Vartan Gregorian.
Hello, everyone. I'm deeply honored to be here tonight. I remember Vartan saying that every child has a right to have a happy childhood, and it is our responsibility as adults to make that happen. I will perform for you a simple yet tender lullaby. It is from the region of Ani in historical Armenia. This is, of course, to honor Vartan's memory and to celebrate his legacy. The song itself is called Aurora, and it translates to rocking song.
Nani
As I said last year, every time I would come up, he would tell me to keep it light. Just before this, I had to give an interview, and they said, how does it feel not to have Vartan here? And I really said, and I think we share this view, that his physical presence is deeply missed. But his emotional, intellectual, spiritual presence is with us, because just like his son, Rafi, he also left in us a continuous memory of his thoughts, which we can channel every time we talk. We say, what would he say? What would he do? And that's the mark of a lasting legacy. And I think he gifted us with that as well. When we started this project, it was in 2015, and we were essentially marking the 8-year period within which the course of our nation changed in 1915 and 1923. And when we started, we thought, the three of us, Vartan, Ruben, and I, that we would do this for 8 years because we thought that's a long period to commemorate the centennial. But as time has gone on, one of the things we realized is that what the initiative is being able to do, and importantly, what Vartan left with us, is something that we need to make enduring. As you heard earlier, he really liked using the quote from Bertolt Brecht's Galileo, "Cursed be the land that needs heroes," but he would always continue and say, given human nature, I'm afraid we're always going to need these heroes, and the only way to counteract it is with knowledge and philanthropy. That was a very big part of his life. He thought philanthropy is the force for good that can counteract the evil people do to each other. And so in the most humble of ways, he taught us a lot, and we feel compelled to carry that learning forward, whether it's in academics or civil engagement or diplomacy, humanitarianism, philanthropy. There's very little. Maybe he even did music and sports. There's very little he didn't touch, and we want to capture all that. Vartan's family, as well as his colleagues and friends at the Carnegie Corporation, have been very supportive when we discuss with them our heartfelt desire to establish a special fund to sustain and expand humanitarian activities across the globe that meant so much to Vartan, as you heard him speak earlier very emotionally. As a result, we have established the Vartan Gregorian Humanitarian Fund to ensure that Aurora will be a self-sustaining entity for years to come. This has already been met enthusiastically by a number of supporters, including most recently by Darren Walker and the Ford Foundation, for which we're very grateful. When talking about gratitude in action, you've heard that many a time tonight, and its potential, Vartan liked to remind us that generosity has no expiration date. I don't think there's a better way to put Aurora's vision into words. We're hopeful that those who share it will support the Vartan Gregorian Humanitarian Fund and help us make his legacy live on and be a guiding light for the world. Thank you very much.
So after all that, I have very little to add. I think you saw Vartan's speech and understood why we feel so deeply connected to Vartan. He saw every person. He took the time to understand what they would be interested in, what kind of advice that they would benefit from. And then it was that sense of, his sense of humor was unbelievable. He always saw something, even in the most difficult situation, he saw something that could be positive and could make you feel better about the day, to go about your day. So I can just say that from our foundation, I feel honored to work on this project and to make sure we have enough people in this movement to make this a kind of long-lasting project, because there is no bigger honor for me and happiness than to meet all of the humanitarians who are in the room, all the laureates, to hear about their work. Because every day we need something that makes us sort of find hope, because the world news are not giving us that hope. And so thank you for all the work you do. I am honored to continue the work to make sure that Aurora continues. Thank you very much.
The annual $1 million Aurora Prize for Awakening Humanity is one of the most remarkable humanitarian prizes in the world. We hope it will continue to grow as more people join the global movement and contribute to help Aurora lift up those working to help the world's most vulnerable.
And now we would like to ask our friend Ruben Vardanyan, Aurora co-founder and co-founder of Noodome, to please come on stage. It is a joy for me to see Ruben and Veronica here tonight.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Dalia. I'm so glad that all these years David was with us, always being master of the ceremony, doing a great job. And Dalia always make the fantastic companion for him. I want to welcome everyone and say how happy I see all of you. And I want to say many times thank you. Thank you for everything that you're doing together with us. It's really amazing what we are together, despite all the challenges, doing very important things. And I want to say thank you for hosting us in fantastic island. Also, it's I think amazing symbolic things which we are doing second time here in Venice, in San Lazzaro Island. And thank you for his hospitality from Humanitarian organization, because it's a really great what we've been here and we saw the history of Armenian heritage, culture, spiritual, managerial, everything. And I think it's one of the best examples about the leadership. I went a trip around the world. And you know, we have a fantastic Armenian diaspora everywhere. And I went and asked about how we can make something different about the genocide. But of course, it always will stay in our memory, in our heart, with all our families. But what will be the right approach to say thank you? And I will be very honest. After traveling around the world, I found shocking surprise for me. But I couldn't find many moral leaders. I went to many countries. Who are the moral authorities in your country? Who are people who really you admire, not because of they are head of the countries, but because of they are respected by society. And I found shocking with this, not only in our part of the world, Russia and Armenia, we didn't have people who really people admire, but in every place it was the same problem. I said something wrong. We need to have people who are moral authorities. Now, after 7 years, I can tell you, people who are sitting here, the finalists and laureates, you know, I'm so happy what I found and met all of you. And because for me, you're the moral leaders. You're the authorities for all of us, for the next generation, for people who really admire and respect not just the numbers of your bank account, not about your titles, but being just human. And I believe Aurora gave us this ground feel, but despite all the challenges, despite all the old crises that they're facing around the world, we have people who are doing a great job, and they're really example for all of us. So I got a lot of energy from all of you. I got a lot of support for anything that I was feeling bad, and I want to say personal thank you for doing this for me, because after the Artsakh war, when we lost not so much about land, but we lost thousands of young, talented people, we lost our confidence about ourselves. I think seeing your story, seeing what you're doing in all these places in the world, it gives me a lot of power. And I believe the leadership will become one of the key elements of taking this world out of this crisis. And I believe you are the example of leaders that we need to follow. And I want to say thank you, all of you. And thank you for doing this together with our friends and partners who support this project from first day. And again, I hope we will continue this despite all the problems, and we'll do many, many more years. Something which, of course, I will prefer we will not have, because of if we will have no crisis, will be no laureates, no finalists. But I hope we'll have a continuous network of the people. We got already 700 people who we know the stories. We have 700 stories of people who saved the lives of others, who are doing something fantastic. I think it's one of the biggest assets that we are holding. And I hope these people will become a network of people who trust each other, who will support each other, and we'll do our best to make this all workable for the world, for the societies. And from our side, we'll do our best to continue this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruben, as always, speaking from your heart. The Aurora Initiative was founded on behalf of the survivors of the Armenian genocide, people like my own ancestors, and in gratitude to their saviors. Its mission is rooted in Armenian history as it strives to transform this experience into an international movement.
Welcome Aurora Prize Selection Committee member Mary Robinson, former President of Ireland and former UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, who will say a few words.
Dear friends, I'm so honored to be here in Venice and on this beautiful San Lazzaro Island with you again to talk about Aurora's work, which is a major part of Vartan's legacy. And that legacy will now be preserved thanks to the Vartan Gregorian Humanitarian Fund. I must say, I'm really impressed by how Aurora has grown. I've been involved in the selection committee from the beginning, and I didn't anticipate, I must confess, I really didn't anticipate that it would grow to the extent that it has, and that it's now bringing together groups globally and different kinds of groups in a very inclusive way. And also, again, putting a lot of focus on young people. I love the intergenerational, and I think we can go further on that. I think there's room for this because it's a moment in time when people have to say, what can I do? How can I change things? This is my responsibility. And I feel more empowered because of Aurora to do this. As a former High Commissioner for Human Rights, I know that the human rights issue is a struggle. It's always a struggle, particularly for those who are working in the front lines. We go through periods, and this is one of them, when it's not very clear how we're going to see the way forward on so many issues, when we are running out of time. We've been in dark moments before. We've been in times where it has seemed hard to see a clear future. But I know that we have to be prisoners of hope. That I learned from my dear friend Archbishop Tutu, who also passed away a short time ago. We have to believe in the future and continue the struggle and believe in our society, believe in young people, believe in idealism. That is what Aurora's heroes teach us to do. Change happens with a few people deciding and being committed. That's what Vartan believed, and that's what we must all do now. We must all do our best for and with Aurora and make the world a better place. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary. As you said, over the last several years, Aurora has taken on a leading role in the humanitarian field, empowering a generation of modern-day heroes. Aurora's global recognition and humanitarian network has grown significantly, benefiting over 2.7 million people to date, with the goal of reaching tens of millions of people in the future. And this year, $300,000 of the Aurora Prize award funds will be directed to combat one of the most acute and overlooked humanitarian crises in Yemen, where human suffering requires urgent intervention. And now we'd like to invite on the stage our extraordinary chair, Lord Aradarzi, chair of the Aurora Prize Selection Committee and co-director of the Institute of Global Health Innovation at Imperial College London.
Thank you very much, Dalia and David. Each year, we receive progressively more nominations for the prize. This is a testament to the resilience and strength of the many extraordinary people around the world whose spirit of humanity compels them to help others while facing unimaginable danger.
Nicely done.
The Aurora Prize for Awakening Humanity is a global humanitarian award established to recognize modern-day heroes and the exceptional impact their actions have made on preserving human life and advancing humanitarian causes. The prize money of $1 million allows the laureate a unique opportunity to continue the cycle of giving and support the organizations that have inspired their humanitarian action. The stories are so crucial because they inspire the next generation of heroes. In the current global climate, it is important to tell these stories of selfless individuals who show that one individual's action can have such a huge impact. The stories remind us to stand up for the truth and for what is right, even in adversity. These individuals have demonstrated courage and commitment to a cause that are passionate about, and through their commitment are demonstrating inspirational leadership to those who hear their stories. So my 5 words to describe Aurora are selfless, inspirational, determined, courageous, and compassionate.
Tonight, we recognize 3 of these modern-day heroes. The 2022 Aurora Humanitarians are Jamila Afghani from Afghanistan, peace activist and founder of the Noor Educational and Capacity Development Organization, who has dedicated over 25 years of her life to giving the women of Afghanistan access to education. After the Taliban took over her country, Jamila Afghani was forced to flee her homeland, but she has remained fiercely committed to its people. Hadi Juman, who's with us tonight from Yemen, a peace activist, mediator, and a body collector, who regularly risks his life to facilitate the exchange of prisoners of war and recover human remains from the front lines. As his country continues to experience prolonged political and humanitarian crises caused by civil war, Hadi Juman helps reunite families affected by this terrible conflict. Mahina El-Masri from Egypt, a lawyer and a political activist who promotes political freedoms and human rights in her country. In Egypt, voicing disagreement with the official policy can be very dangerous. And Mahina El-Masri has been detained and jailed several times as a result of her activism. Nevertheless, she remains optimistic about the future and committed to being an agent of positive change. Despite the risks and challenges, these Aurora humanitarians put the lives and safety of others above all else. Their stories are a source of hope and inspiration in trying times, and it is an honor for us to recognize them this evening.
Thank you, Laura Darzi. Tonight, we also remember Arsha Louise Mardiganian, a fearless survivor of the Armenian genocide who managed to share her story of survival with the world to help those affected by this tragedy. The co-founders of the initiative have chosen the name Aurora, or Arsha Louise in Armenian, which means dawn.
And that is why one of our traditions is to invite a local girl with the same name to the ceremony to announce the laureate and offer he or she a grapevine from Armenia, symbolizing new beginnings. In a few moments, we will know which of the 3 outstanding humanitarians will receive the 2022 Aurora Prize. To do that, we ask Aurora Gezzo from Venice to please join us on stage. Last year, our little Aurora also took part in the ceremony and helped us reveal the name of the laureate. Dear Aurora, please come on up here for the announcement.
Hello, Aurora. Please tell us the name of the 2022 Aurora Prize laureate.
Jamila Afghani.
So we're thrilled to have Jamila on screen with us. She was unable, as you all know from the difficulty of travel these days with humanitarian issues, to obtain travel documents for a displaced person. Up to the last moment, we were trying to get Jamila here, but in the end, it proved impossible. Our world is going through some turbulent times, but we're so lucky to have her here.
Although she is not with us right here in person, the grapevine will be planted in a garden on the island of San Lazzaro in her honor as a symbol of revival and connection.
If you can hear us and speak by the Zoom camera, please do. Congratulations.
Ladies and gentlemen, to be honest, I'm really emotional, and I'm really honored to be one of the Aurora Laureate for 2022. When my country, my people are passing through the darkest days of history, today my people, my children are not allowed to go to school because they are young girls. My sisters are not able to go to job and money because they are women. This is the biggest punishment a human being can have in our own country from her own people. Sometimes we believe that there is no humanity in this world anymore. But Aurora proved that humanity is still alive. And humanitarian actors do recognize the pain and suffering of people of Afghanistan. and you stand beside us, and you extend your hand of help and support to the people of Afghanistan who are in the need of it. I thank you, my Aurora family, my Aurora friends and colleagues, all the great people, all the kind people. They are the symbol of freely appraising humanity. It gives us the hope that this world can be changed in a peaceful world soon. With our struggle, with joining hands with each other, with leaning on the shoulder of each other. More than me, this recognition means for my people, for people of Afghanistan, for the girls and women of Afghanistan, that humanity is alive. Humanity is alive. And this is our hope to continue our struggle. I'm really thankful. I'm really humbled. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, and thank you, Jamila, for being a source of inspiration and strength for us all. We thank you. Thank you so much, Jamila, for your outstanding work.
As 2022 Aurora Prize laureate, Jamila Afghani will also have a chance to support the designated organizations of her choice. She has selected Women International League for Peace and Freedom and Noor Education and Capacity Development Organization, which seek to promote world peace and provide humanitarian assistance to women, youth, and children in Afghanistan.
According to tradition, the name of the laureate will be added to the Chronicles of Aurora, a unique manuscript created with historical techniques and kept in the Matena Daran, the National Repository of Ancient Manuscripts in Yerevan, Armenia.
With this precious medal, I'm carrying the hope in my heart that one day my country will become like Armenia.
Thank you for such a moving performance. And now let us welcome back on stage Aurora co-founders Nubar Afghani and Ruben Vardanyan, the minds behind this great endeavor.
First, let me congratulate Jamila for this recognition. We're humbled by her years of service. Some of you may know that she was a finalist 5 years ago, and so we've had a chance to meet her in the past. She's joined us at two of these events, and it's a really incredible privilege. It's too bad that she couldn't join us despite heroic efforts by many people, including some in the room, to get her to be able to travel so we could have all three finalists here. But we're very, very thankful for her life of work and what she'll be able to do going forward. You heard already, so I'll keep this part short, that there is the way the prize works is that there's $1 million, of which a portion goes to the laureate, about $100,000. In addition to that, we have the custom, the tradition to also award individually $25,000 awards to the two other finalists, so they will be able to use that to support their work. I just want to make sure everybody understands that. And then we also just noted that there will be a special a portion of this attributed to a current, large, and overlooked crisis, which in this year is taking place in Yemen. And so we're very grateful to our colleagues at UNHCR for the work they do, Afghanistan, as well as Yemen. Thank you very much.
Thank you everyone again, and just to also maybe a little bit explanation. The choice of Yemen was done not by selection committee or by founders, it was done by finalists and laureates who between themselves choose the country which really need to be helped. This is why also I think it's great example of how network of the finalists work together to choose the place that's most maybe invisible or not very well recognized. This is why I think it was very important. As Nubar said, it's important to raise awareness of overlooked crisis. And on one of these crises, what's happening now is happening right now in Armenia, in Nagorno-Karabakh and Artsakh. And I think Aurora was proven, because there was a lot of debate about doing or not doing Aurora in the current situation. We said it's proven that the Armenians have not and will not give up. I think it's very important, was message for the world. And this is I think it's ceremony for me. It's very emotional because I came from Artsakh directly to here. And I think it was sending the message with, we are about the peace, but we are strong. Peace doesn't mean be weak. Peace means you need to be strong. And strong, but you are continue doing what you believe is right to do. And I think now more than ever, we need to build this hope and try to stop the war and other horrible things happen in our world. And I think it's a very important time for all of us to understand. Go this journey together with people who really share with us the same values. And I want to say I was privileged to meet a lot of people during my move to Artsakh. And I want to finish my short speech in this ceremony with one sentence I heard from one of the refugees who left twice already, place where he was homeland, from Baku to Artsakh, and Artsakh now partially was occupied. He left again, and he said to me, and I will say in Armenian, I will translate in English. He said, yes, հպարտեմ իմ կյանքս տամ Արցախի համար, բայց ավելի պատիվ է իմ համար այս հողի վրա ապրելը. He said, I'm ready to give my life for the Artsakh, Nagorno-Karabakh, but more honor for me to live in this land. I think it's let's be honored to live in our land, in our world, and keep the peace. Thank you.
Message for you from Dr. Tom Katina, 2017 Aurora Prize laureate and Aurora's chair, whose vital work in the Nuba Mountains in Sudan has kept him from coming to Venice. Let me read his message while we wait for everybody to join us here. I want you to hear Tom's gentle voice in these words. Hello, everyone. I'm sorry I couldn't be with you tonight to thank you all in person, but with David's help, I'm still able to address you. Congratulations to the extraordinary 2022 Aurora Humanitarians, and congratulations to our new laureate. I think you're doing a fantastic job, and I'm very glad to welcome you to the Aurora family. I'd also like to use this chance to express my gratitude to the founders and to all Aurora's supporters and donors. Without your vision, without your contribution, my fellow laureates and humanitarians would not have been able to save so many people. This is Aurora's main idea, gratitude in action, and all of you are taking it to heart and showing your thanks by helping those in need. However small or big your gift is, please know that it can make all the difference in the world for someone. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. We're making many wonderful memories tonight. Thank you so much.
The Aurora Prize ceremonies have always brought together so many outstanding people. I've had the honor of sharing this stage with George Clooney and Charles Aznavour at the inaugural ceremony in Yerevan. It was a very emotional moment for me, and I'm so happy to be standing here tonight with Dalia, reliving those memories, and I hope creating new ones with you. And speaking of memories, ever since that first ceremony, it has become a tradition for Aurora to include a very special song.
It was written by the great late Charles Aznavour to raise funds and support the Armenians affected by the 1988 Spitak earthquake. Please welcome our wonderful performers, the prima donna herself, Isabel Bayrakdaryan, internationally acclaimed Gurdjieff Ensemble, and last but not least, the Piccoli Cantori Veneziani Children Choir.
The first recipient of the Aurora Prize, Marguerite.
Tom Catena.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Fortune Adan and Ilwad Elman.
That was absolutely beautiful. Thank you.
And now let the bells ring. Let the bells of the San Lazzaro Monastery ring as a sign of the humanity that is awakened tonight and always by the Aurora Prize. This concludes the official 2022 Aurora Prize ceremony. I'm Dalia Atallah.
And I'm David Ignatius. Thank you, everyone.